Let me tell you, 50% growth rate last year. This year, we're on pace to double that. The number one question I get when talking to everybody in the field and in multiple states is, how the heck do you support that much growth when we're talking about that many more policies, that many more clients? What exactly happens? So we use the term service, and the term service is a very, very short word that has a very, very deep meaning for us, right? So when we say it, people kind of blush past it and say, great, you do service. But I don't think you understand what service is until you had today's We Wonder. So I wanted to welcome Shelly Rayton. She's our VP in charge of all of this word service. And there are 9 core areas we're going to touch on today. So I'm Chris Pfluger. I'm the Chief Development Officer here at We Insure. And I am super excited about today's session because it really unpacks exactly what we're talking about. You know why, Shelly? Because people say, well, can't I just do service on my own? Well, you watch today's session and you let me know if you think you can do all this. So that's going to be my favorite part of this, is at the end, kind of the reveal as we go through each one of our departments and the expertise that we have on staff, and starting with yourself. So if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself and we'll start from there.
Sure. Again, Shelly Rayton, VP of Service here at We Insure. Unbelievably proud to lead such a dedicated and hardworking group of individuals here in the service center. Our team understands the company's mission and our role in We Insure model to assist our agents with all things service so that we can focus on handling your clients while you grow your book of business.
It is exactly right. So that is our mission, is to absolutely do that, is to grow, our books of business out there for all of our agency owners and all the producers on staff. But they don't have to worry about, are their customers being taken care of, right? Are their clients getting that white glove treatment? Well, I think when you see today's, you're going to find out exactly what they do. So why don't we start? And again, there's 9 core areas, so we're going to group them a little bit, but I want to introduce you to some of those teams. So Shelly, I'm going to let you introduce the people as they come aboard. We're going to bring them on to today, and we're going to talk to them a little bit about what they do and how they help everybody grow their business. So first off, we're going to start with Sci-Fi and data integrity. So what is Sci-Fi?
Yeah. First off, I also want to introduce Tabitha. Tabitha, there, you can wave on camera.
Hi.
There you go. Tabitha, she is one of our amazing personal line supervisors who coaches and mentors our team on the floor on a daily basis. She really has been instrumental in teaching our service reps all the best practices of service, but she also comes with a producer background, and we really value that insight. So, what the agents may need or want. So, Tabby, can you just take a quick moment to share your insurance history with us and explain how you support and develop all of these service reps that you will see here soon?
Absolutely. So I initially started with insurance back in 2014. I worked for State Farm for about 6 years. I did work in quite a few different agencies, which gave me a really good background as to how different people choose to run their agencies. Some of them did split it up, sales and service. Some, focused on sales and vice versa. But I worked there for about 6 years, got my 440 in the first year, ended up passing my 220 right before I left there to move on to a sales only role, which I quickly found out was extremely hard to meet your sales goals while trying to do so much service. So that led me kind of back to the service world with We Insure. Before I left the sales, I also got my 215. So I do have my 220 and my 215. And it allowed me to transition to We Insure. I started here back in August of 2020 and kind of took the world by storm. I have a team right now of 10 people that I manage and keep track of, which is everything from helping them when they're taking their live calls to, any type of background training they may need when things come up with coachings and all that kind of stuff. So really try and pour all my knowledge into them so that hopefully they can wow everybody between our customers and our agents. So
Love it.
Fantastic. Well, let's bring in the rest of the team. We have both Sci-Fi and we have data integrity. So if you wouldn't mind, either one of you, just tell us what exactly does Sci-Fi stand for, and we'll start with Sci-Fi and we'll go to data integrity.
Sure. And we have today from our sci-fi team, we have Nash Marie Nieves. She can wave there on camera. And we also have Nick Herbert. He's also in the data integrity team. We're going to go ahead and start with sci-fi first. And it does sound or stand for submit it and forget it. Our agents, it's kind of our motto. They bind the policy, they quote the policy, they submit it to us. And Nash Marie and the team there, they handle it from day one. And that's huge, Chris, because our competitors don't do that. So our team handles everything from day one. In 2020, this team handled 60,000 submissions. That's huge. And they did roughly 193,000 tasks last year, which is outstanding. So Nash Marie, if you can just explain what your day looks like in the sci-fi unit and what type of tasks you do to bring value to our agents.
Absolutely. So like Shelly said, we do POPs, but we also do communications and we do triage. So with POPs, we upload, we email the documents to the carriers, whether it's a signed application, WIMIT, a phone point. We also pull proof of prior if the proof of prior is not attached. And we also pull proof of homes as well if it's not attached. We also update coverages. And we also update the description line with the address if it's not already in there. Communications, I go ahead and pull communications like underwriting memos, cancellations, non-renewals, and we go ahead and attach it to each account. And we go ahead and create those activities for personal lines so they could go ahead and work it and send it to the agents and let the agents know. And we also do that with triage. So any emails you send to mortgage, agent hotline, commercial, CSR, we go ahead and attach those emails into each account. And we also create an activity for mortgage, for agent hotline, for commercial, so they go ahead and work it as well. So we try to make the agent's life a little bit easier.
Nice.
That's right. And it's a very large role there, Chris, because you can imagine we get about 1,000 emails a day, daily. And so they have to take all of those and handle it. So you think about all of those back end supports that you just wouldn't think if you were to have a service center in your own office. You know, you would have to have a triage person, someone going through all those emails, and somebody to upload all of those trailing documents the carrier requires at the beginning of a policy. So this team takes care of all of that for our agents, which is a very big load.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you, Nash Marie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And here we have Nick Herbert. He actually is our founding member of our brand new team, the data integrity team. It really just provides an added layer of eyes on our management system for our agents. So that way they're handled in a detailed and a clean policy file is very crucial for any reporting purposes for our agents as well. Nick, would you like to explain a little bit about what you do and how your role adds value?
Good morning. I'm Nicholas Herbert, and I'm the Data Integrity Specialist. So my day-to-day is mostly updating policy numbers, merging duplicate accounts, canceling duplicate policies, updating ICO, PPE, and just keeping our data management system up to date and accurate.
Fantastic.
Okay,
That's the majority of it.
That's great. Well, it's important because you can see what those two different things do, right? They keep the data clean and they make sure that everybody is accurate. And then the other side, you know, when we have the sci-fi team, and again, that's one of our huge competitive advantages here, you know, for we Insure is having that sci-fi team in place, because a lot of times companies will say, well, we'll provide some service for you, but they provide it 60 or 90 days later because you're doing a lot of work in that 60 or 90 days. And our team is stepping in to help our agents, you know, take that off their plate and focus on growth to the next customers and knowing that we're taking care of it. So phenomenal. That's fantastic.
Yeah, day one. Great
Day
job.
one.
Yeah, day one. We love that. Day one. Great job, team. And you guys are an integral part of this entire We Insure model, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well, let's shift and talk a little bit about, you know, you mentioned the personal lines there. You know, Tabby, you mentioned the personal lines, but we also have commercial, and on both those sides, we actually have a Spanish team. So let's bring everybody on and talk a little bit about three different areas there. So let's talk about the personal lines. And then let's talk about commercial. And we'll also talk about the Spanish team and how they help, our Spanish-speaking clients out there. So let's start with an introduction, if you don't mind, Tab.
Absolutely. So for our PLS role, we have Amber speaking on the behalf. And then I'm going to actually have Gio is going to speak on commercial and Spanish because she does both. So our personal lines and commercial lines are our frontline members. They're the ones that are going to get the clients from the get-go. They manage our phone queues. These people are highly trained, not only in insurance, but they are experts on all our state-specific guidelines. Now that we're really expanding into, I think, 17 states now, last time I checked, as well as our processes, we have about 150 different carriers that they have to know how to do also. So not only do they need to know state specifics, they need to know carrier specifics for each of those states. So it is a high volume role, okay? The inbound call queue keeps our CSRs pretty busy. Just some stats for you. So back in 2020, our service team took 76,000 calls and did so answering 81% of those calls within 1 minute. All right, that's impressive. So I'm going to let Amber speak first. Go ahead, Amber, and explain your role as a PLS rep and what your day-to-day looks like to help our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, of course, every season that we come into is going to be different on the type of calls we get every day. Right now, majority of them are all the renewals. All of these wonderful, calls that we get, we definitely try and do our part on the end, try and change some coverages for them, get it down as much as we can possible before even, getting to the agent. We want to try and make it as easy for them because, they do get a bunch of calls. We want to try and make it easy for everybody, for the customers, so they're not waiting on hold for long. They don't get frustrated and say, well, this is taking too long. We do a lot of payments that come in. So people will call in, especially if it's auto. They'll call and, they'll make their monthly payment, or if they pay, by the year, we help them out with that, send them any information they need. So, their declaration page, their ID cards, obviously their receipts to make sure they have them, for their files future-wise. We also do, adding of the vehicles. We go over coverages for them. So anytime they have any questions, we definitely always try and go over those first, just so they have a better understanding. That way they feel more comfortable with us as the company that they're with, so they know what's going on. They don't feel, I'm with these people and no one's told me anything. That's not a good outlook on anybody. So we definitely will take that extra time if it's needed and they need a little more understanding, especially with, the older generation who are not that great with computers or any kind of technology like that. We definitely always try and take the extra time with them as well. Talk them through any of our electronic signatures, DocuSign. We try and talk them through as much as we can. There's also a lot of the emailing. If they have their mortgage who has questions, of course, I've touched a little bit in mortgage. So, if they call in, I do try and help out with that as well. Try and just make it a smooth, easy process. Because that's definitely, if they have to do all this calling around, they just get frustrated waiting on hold. So if we can take that burden off of them and do it ourselves and make it an easy peasy situation, they're more likely to recommend us to everybody. And if we can do our part on our end to make it easier for the agents as well, because I know their plates are completely booked all the time. It definitely makes it easier on them as well. They can get to what they need to that's most important. And help those people out so everyone, has a better outlook on us and, likes to call us. And, instead of, some of the companies where they're just like, no, we can't ever get anybody. And it's like, no, we're going to make sure you get somebody. We don't want to ever leave anyone hanging out.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Amber. All right, Giovanna.
I was going to jump in real quick because that's an important point, right? When we talk about that, how many calls, how many emails, how much waiting time, just imagine if you're an individual agent and you've got clients and you're trying to write a bunch of policies and help a bunch of families out and you're getting your calls backed up. You're not getting back to them for 2 or 3 days. What are your clients thinking then? So I've been on the other end of that and I can tell you it's not very good. I need an answer when I need an answer, right? So you really are hoping to get a hold of someone to answer those questions. And again, with Insure, you're getting a hold of someone almost immediately. They'll help you walk you through whatever your question is. And if you need to still get hold of your agent, you certainly can. So it doesn't by any means take the agent completely out of the loop. But if there's a sales opportunity, we'll transfer them back to them. So it is an opportunity there. And Tabby, just to let you know, and there's no fault of yours, we were in 19 states.
Oh, 19 now.
If you wait another day or two, I don't know. We could be more. So
I think I just saw Virginia, right? We just got Virginia.
Correct.
So that's
Virginia
one of them.
Just came on board. Absolutely. So that's great. But thank you very much, Ann.
Of course. Thank you.
And we, a couple more pointers here just on the PLS side. We do have a after call survey that we monitor both on the NPS side, which is the Net Promoter Score. We really monitor that. In addition to that, we have an after call survey to monitor our CSR expectations and kind of how they interacted with that client. But you also think about, 70% of the day could be used in servicing your clients. If you were to have an independent agent, we take all of that load for you. And there's really no difference between a CSR in your office and having a CSR in the headquarters office. The clients believe that we are right there with you, and we are that communication between the client and the agent. We make sure that stays open. So thank you, Amber. Great job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I am Giovanna Pacheco, and I am happy to say that I've been with We for a year exactly yesterday. I joined the commercial department, I want to say August, but it was like a lot longer. And honestly, I believe that as well as all the other departments, we are the best. We multitask so many different avenues, and we definitely provide and excel the customer service for our agents and we. So a little bit about what I do on a day-to-day is that I primarily work on certificates, and as you know, for those companies, that's super important because that's where they get their jobs, especially for truckers. A lot of the times they won't get a load unless they've got that proof of insurance. So our team really sees those requests as priority, as number one. You'll just send us an email or you'll place an activity. And for those of you agents who are thinking about joining the franchise, an activity is pretty much just like a big flag on our system that lets us know what we need to work for you and for your insured. So we'll work those first. We'll also work any other activities that you may need assistance on that very day. In less than 24 hours, we'll get that response for you or we'll get it completed. We also work with the renewals for your commercials. So we'll just take the opportunity to send your insured, your client, their renewal documents, certificates of insurance, or answer any incoming calls that they may have, go over their coverages. We're just your right hand, we're your assistant, and we love it. What else can I say that the rest of the team hasn't already shared? Service is definitely number one. And I'm just happy to be a part of this team. If you join our franchise, I promise you will not regret it. Everyone is genuine and hands-on. The outpour of support when you're coming on is huge. And I just have nothing else to say but great leaders with We Insure. What else about commercial? We also have a bilingual team, not just for commercial, but for any of the departments. We've got a great group of Spanish speakers. We even have Portuguese, which is huge because we do have Portuguese speaking clients. So for any of those Portuguese speaking clients or Spanish speaking clients who are kind of hesitant or don't know if they can call in, no worries. We're fully bilingual. We'll take care of them. Being Hispanic myself, I know that sometimes we take a little bit longer on those calls, but that's great because that builds that relationship and it helps maintain those clients with We Insure. I think that's pretty much it. I think everybody else it's the same thing, just we are number one. And I promise.
We're going to use it as a slogan.
Amazing.
That's
Those numbers speak for themselves as well.
Well, that is great. Thank you very much. And again, as you'll notice, everybody is still working from home. I think, Giovanna, you probably started right when the pandemic started, so you probably have been used to working from home. But the good news is, and I can throw it out here, is we are going to have our grand opening for our new headquarters location. We have a new building close to downtown Jacksonville, and so we're very excited about that. I believe that is a May 6th, actually 7th is going to be the actual grand opening for the building. So with that, I think everyone can finally get back together and start working safely, work back together in a brand new location, and we can't be more excited about that, but that's a different We Wonder. So we'll move on. So, Shelly, who do we have next? What do we have next one here?
Great job, Giovanna. And congratulations on your 1 year. She's done amazing things. And another thing about the commercial team, those that write a lot of commercial business, the turnaround time and expectations on those requests is very, very critical in order for them to continue to do their job. So that team really pushes out quality work in a timely fashion. So we appreciate them. Okay, so I think Tabby is going to introduce this next group, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is that right?
I was trying to wait for them to get on here.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about the mortgage processing and retention team now, Chris.
Beautiful. So that's 3 different areas out there. So let's talk about, we'll start one at a time. Why don't we start with processing first?
Yep. So Kimberly is going to be the one talking about processing and retention, and then we'll switch over to Alex, who does the mortgage. So just to kind of preface both of these, so mortgage does take a very large volume of inbound calls and email requests from lenders and customers. To put this into perspective, this team alone handled approximately 28,000 inbound calls in 2020, and on top of that, also processed 32,000 requests for mortgage changes, updates, handling mortgage payments, all that kind of stuff. Data shows that this team alone assists with saving our agents approximately 2 business days per month, depending on your book size. So that's awesome.
And especially this time of year when interest rates are so low, we're seeing a huge influx in refinancing. So this team has been awfully busy this last year, right?
Yes, they have. And then on the processing and retention side, they handle a very large workload as well, coming from the carriers, clients, and agents. So in 2020 alone, this team processed 255,000 memos and requests in 1 year. This number is huge. So you can imagine the number of days in a month that this is going to save our agents alone. It's not uncommon to have independent agency offices that spend about 70% of their day just doing service work. I was there. I found it extremely hard to meet my sales goals while trying to tackle all my service stuff on top of that. So this is extremely important. This is why we works. This is why our model works. So.
Exactly.
Kimberly, I'll let you take it away and explain processing and retention.
Thanks, Tabby. I'm Kimberly. I've been with We Insure Group for 3 years. Processing is so important to you guys because we do really help take that workload off of you so you can focus on just new business. We handle the underwriting memos that come in, the non-renewals, the repair memos, cancellations, the emails from the insured. And, that's a big, needy workload right there that can take up so much of your time. Like sometimes we'll have like one task and you're on it for a long time.
Yeah, it can be.
So yeah, absolutely. So we're really happy to be in the background to help you guys out and take that off of you guys. We reach out to the insured, try to get those proof of repairs, and try and see what we can do to resolve any cancellations that are pending. Any emails that the insured sends in where they need something, we try and handle that for you guys as well, and reach out to them and just be there for you guys. On the retention side, we do touch the renewals 4 times. One of the really cool things is we do our first touch on it is we compare the renewal from last year to this year and see how much it's increased by and let you guys know if it's increased more than 14%, because we probably know there's going to be a reshop coming with that. That way, when the insured calls you and says, they can't say, well, you didn't know my renewal went up by this much. Why didn't you know that? Because we already beat you to it. We're way ahead of you. You guys get alerted. We touch it again 10 days prior to the renewal so that we send them a little reminder by text or email to make sure they got a copy of it. They don't have any questions. We also reach out to them a day before the renewal, phone call to see like if they still have any questions, if they need help processing their payment to renew it. And then again, 10 days after, if it still hasn't renewed, we just kind of reach out and make sure they didn't have any other remaining issues. And if there is anything else we could do to try and retain that policy for you guys. So you do have that support as well to maintain our policy retention, which is really good.
Well, I can tell you that is a one of the top questions. Obviously, what does service do? But one of the questions I get is, how do you handle renewals? How is the retention rate? And once you hear the story of how much goes into this and how many touch points, you can just imagine, Tabby, working in an office for yourself and trying to not only handle the service side, but then to go out and be creative enough to touch your own book, that many times throughout the year to make sure that they're satisfied, and then do all the follow-up right there in retention. There's no way on renewal that you'd be doing that as an individual. It's impossible.
No, I touched it once or twice if they were lucky, because I just didn't have time for it.
Right. Exactly.
And this is that residual income that is so important to our agency owners, and we recognize that. So if we can't get payment after those 4 touches, I promise you, we've done everything we possibly could to salvage that there for you. But again, when we implemented this 4-touch system in June of 2019, we saw a 10% increase right away within months. So this process works, and especially in this time in the hard market when increases in premiums are really jumping for our clients. And that is the benefit of We Insure as well, as we have that carrier and market access that our agency owners would be able to reshop those policies very easily to see if there's a better option for them. And so we really try to be proactive and letting our agents know so that they can look for our clients.
Fantastic.
Great job, Kim.
Thank you.
And Kim has been with us for how long now?
3 years.
Yeah, she's been here for 3 years. So great job.
Thank you.
She's been here through all the changes. I love it. All right, Alex, you're up next to talk about our mortgage.
Alrighty, certainly. I just want to say thank you guys for having me here on this lovely morning. So day-to-day basis of mortgage process, we help agents to keep up to date with client information and help process endorsements, whether it be mortgagee changes or even updating insured information. We always like to strive for that sense of urgency here at We Insure. So, things have to get done in a timely manner, whether it be receiving that mortgagee payment or getting those documents out, renewal documents, whether it being that updated declaration page with the new mortgagee clause listed, or even that new invoice so that payment can get sent out there. Because a lot of the times insureds are calling in about refinances and it has to get done and closed by a certain time frame or they get pushed back. So we want to make sure things are done in that timely manner here. So we always want to strive for that sense of urgency. Usually we receive calls again, like I said, with those refinances, and we want to help make sure that relieve that time load off the agents so they can help build their book of business. And scalability is ultimately key here for agency offices. If we can relieve that pressure off, the workload on the servicing end, it can help scale their book of business tenfold, 10x in their profit. So we always want to strive here at We Insure. We're a family. We always want to help each department out, whether it be PLS, hotline, we all go hand in hand and connect here together. So yeah, that's, basically day-to-day in basis, keep retention up to date with all that their process and everything, and help everybody out there.
And that's a really good point there, Alex, is that you guys also handle the retention for any mortgagee build policies. And oftentimes that can be a little difficult for our agents because, the loans are sold from here to there, or the client sometimes forget to let us know that they even sold their home, 6 months ago. And so they handle a lot of those backdating of coverages and policies. So Alex, great job. You've been here with us for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I started January of last year. So a year and some change now.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
And he has major aspirations of becoming a producer as well. So,
Of course.
there you go. Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
talk.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, guys. That's fantastic. And you can tell, as you mentioned, I know that department, especially with mortgage, gets a lot of business. And so that's one of those things, when you talked about Tabby earlier, 1 day a month, 2 day a month, 2 days a month for this, you start adding all this up. We've had some of our producers on here a few months back saying it basically saved them 1 day per week, which to them is almost, if you look at it, it's almost 2 months out of a year of actual service work that is done, handled professionally, divided up and handled by a group that does just that all day long. So there's no way you could be as good at it as they are. So that's the wonderful part about it. So saving that much time means you have more time to sell and grow your book. Obviously.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
So that's great. So the last thing we have on our list here, if I'm not mistaken, is we call hotline. So can you explain what the hotline does and who it helps and how it's beneficial?
Absolutely. We definitely not save the best for last here, because this is definitely a group that we value. We value all of our groups, but I know that our agency owners value Agent Hotline to the core. Our Agent Hotline team is a white glove service that we provide our agency owners and producers. This is also a competitive advantage of We Insure. So you have your own dedicated CSRs that are the most tenured, extremely knowledgeable about our carrier relationships, our procedures, and even our Epic management system, because the learning curve in any new system is difficult for anybody. And so this team really assists our agency owners with that as well. It's like having your very own CSR right behind you. And you build those relationships with this Agent Hotline team, such as Jakelin that you see on screen here, because you work so closely with them every single day. So it is just like it's your very own CSR. This team maintains a 92% quality rating. That's huge. And they manage very, very quick turnaround times for our agency owners. The team not only manages a high phone volume, but they also process requests as well, just like some of our other groups here. In 2020, this team processed 26,000 requests and took 15,000 phone calls from just our agency owners. So those are numbers there. And they did that while maintaining an average wait time of only 23 seconds. That also is big, because we want to be able to handle our agents efficiently and right away. If they're calling or they're sending us something, it's urgent. And so, Jakelin, if you can explain your role a little bit and the types of requests that you get from agents on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yeah, of course. All right. So first, I want to say that I was actually in personal lines for just a few weeks until Miss Shelley offered the Agent Hotline position, and I was blindfolded, and I was like, sure, let's do it. And I love it. So pretty much what we do is we service the back end. I know we've heard that a few times. So we take calls from the agents, we process orders via phone, and we do tasks. Now those tasks can consist of endorsements. So when an insured's called in, and they want changes or maybe a reshop or whatever it may be, the agent will call us and say, hey, let's try to obtain quotes. Let's try to retain this policy. Let's issue these endorsements. So in a way, we're kind of the middleman. Mm-hmm. But our goal is to keep the agents, they're focused on selling and focusing on their customers' needs while we service the back end. The insurance industry is always constantly evolving, and so are we. Mm-hmm. I think in February, we took the most calls and processing task ever. It was an insane influx, but it was amazing. I mean, we are growing so quickly. Mm-hmm. Primarily day to day, we, take calls. We get more tasks and calls because agents do, put in information for us to go ahead and proceed with auto, home, umbrella, so many policies. Mm-hmm. Our goal is to be there, support them, reach out to the insureds if they need us to help to expedite requests. There's so many opportunities, and we constantly are growing. There's always doors opening, and this is a great company. So as long as we can keep the agents focusing on the customers, and we're here to assist the best we can, we try to keep it going smoothly.
That's great. And, Chris, some common questions that I get from our new agency owners or even prospects agencies is, what can I send them? And the answer is really anything. I mean, you can send them really anything. The only thing that we don't do is quote new policies for you. That would be the agent. We want to make sure that the agent and the client really have that relationship, building that policy together. And we don't take initial payments. But other than that, we're absolutely going to handle anything that you send our way. So those agency owners that utilize Agent Hotline to the max, those are the agency owners that are growing their business the quickest. And so I think it's really important to note that we have all the resource for you. It's just utilizing it in the right way. And we have a training team that really instills that into our new agency owners as you come aboard.
I'll tell you what, the thing that rings true here is you're in business for yourself as an agency owner, but not by yourself. And
Right.
So a lot of times when you see that, you hear that statement and people think, okay, well, there's some support folks, that are helping me out. There's literally 100 people standing behind you in multiple different departments supporting you as an agency owner. And service, remember we started off with one small word and delved, into 9 different areas. And that's probably not everything, but 9 different areas at a high level to talk about what we do. That is how powerful, that is the power of we. Right? That is really how powerful the model is, and the ability finally to get people out there and focusing on what they want to do from an agency owner perspective. That is meeting with clients and getting those families the right coverage for them, not just whatever I can get put together. And then, by the way, I got to take 6 other calls to help someone, change the mortgage payee, or I got to run around and do all these other things. I'm focused on you as the consumer, and I'm trusting that this entire team of experts who are all licensed in all these states are ready to go and work with you one-on-one as if it were me. So that's a level of trust that we have with our agency owners. And again, that's a level of service that we want to provide on a day-to-day basis for you. So that is fantastic. Thank you, Jacqueline, for joining.
Of course, no problem.
Well, guys, I think I just mentioned it. We've touched on a lot of different areas, and we've kind of unpacked that word service to the extent now that I think everyone realizes, it's not just service anymore, right? There's so many things that we actually do for our agents that nobody would even know, right? So your clients won't know that it's not your service team standing right behind you on day to day, because it is, right? It's an extension of you, right? So you have the ability to leverage our team to help you grow. Why not do it?
Yeah, we get questions all the time like, oh, well, can I talk to my agent so-and-so? And sometimes it's a little awkward because they're like, we're not actually in office with them, but we do support them. So, let me check and see if they're available for you. Otherwise, please let me help you. Like, we can do all of these also, please.
That's fantastic. Well, you guys were great. Thank everybody. I don't know if we can throw them back on here, but I want to tell everybody basically our service team is the heart of we. I mean, it really is. It's one of those things where people talk about what do we provide as a service model? It really is the service team. And we have that service culture throughout the entire organization. So whether it's our marketing teams, our compliance teams, our accounting teams, and of course our service teams, we're here to service our agency owners and help them grow because we're partnered with them to grow their books and grow their business. So very excited. Thank you all. I genuinely appreciate you joining me this morning. I know you have actual work to do now. Great. But no, I would sincerely thank you very much. And I'm sure you're very much appreciated by all of our owners. So thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.